Can you continue? You should wait. We should continue. I want to use 30 minutes or less than 30 minutes to wrap up. Then do some tests to the point that we will try and communicate with this control unit. Find the temperature sensor on the wiring diagram, then we use it. So this control unit goes for a lot of vehicles. It's J factory. It can fit Jeep Cherokee. It can fit ProMaster RAM. It can fit a lot of car units. So this is for ProMaster 2018, 2019. So when we move to the next wiring diagram, don't be confused when you see all these things. Like as I was showing you from the other side, if it is a socket, it means so. If you see something like this, let me open a real one for you guys to see. Okay, so this is a real wiring diagram. Let me zoom it in. So if you see something like this, don't be scared. Do you get me? Don't be scared. It shows that there is connector EC11. It's a connector. Let's move to the other side. You can see this ground. It shows you that this also is EC11 and this also is EC11. But I wanted to show you guys this. When you see anything like this, it means there are options. So you should know the kind of car you are working on. There are options. When I say there are options, you see this car is having SUNEV and UNEV. So there are two different systems. So when it is SUV, you use that diagram. When it is ULV, you use the other diagram. So when you see it like this, don't be confused. And this also shows that there is a connector here. The connector I showed you for the first time, which was C, then the third gate, is different from these connectors. These connectors, you have to find them. You can see the other one was C, it was EC, the other one was EC11. This one is EF01. Do you get the whole thing? And there is the splice that I'm talking about. Anytime you see these dots, it means it's a junction. So they made the wiring diagram such a way that we have junction connectors, we have splice, and we have connectors. When we say a junction connector is whereby all all of these wires can come to this junction. So maybe if they need power, all of them will come to this junction. And normally junction connectors, they do them JC. They label them JC. Let me see if I can find a junction connector that I can show you guys. Let me open another. So as I'm saying, you see this connector, right? This page. If you don't know the number of the page, right? How will you continue reading the diagram? Because if you check the left side, we have 1, 2, 3. If you check the right or the other side, if you check the other side, you see the other side also have 1, 2, 3. So what position is this? If your wiring diagram is not labeled properly, you end up doing error or you end up tracing ghosts. So when someone is giving you a wiring diagram, you should give it to you systematically. so that you know that okay, this is diagram 1, diagram 2, diagram 3, diagram 4. There are some of the service information. If I use the all data to download this, I would have gotten it all on one PDF. But this one, I think I downloaded it from Identifix when I was using Identifix. So you should have gotten diagram 1, diagram 2. So with a system like this, let me open another diagram. So this is diagram 2, and I'm now opening diagram 3. Let me zoom in, and you see that the colors will match. The first one is green, right? So that means if I come to this side, the left side, I should see the first one to be green. That means that's my diagram 1, my diagram 2 and 3. That means after, so if I should print all of them down after this, I'm going to this, if I'm tracing a line. And it is surprising, as I was saying, circuit. All the components that you see that a bit chobu waha, a bit faha, a bit shia waha saying, let's pick one sensing component. So this is a fuel pressure ray. So fuel tank ray pressure sensor, right? If you check it, it has power, ground, and signal. So let's trace it. This one, the black and red, and the white. Let's see where the black and red goes. How many so? You see where the black and red? Fuel tank pressure sensor. Do you get it? Although you are seeing all the mess, it has a particular thing it controls. And every fuel tank pressure sensor needs power and ground and a signal, because at the end it has to report a signal. And the signal, before you can report it, you have to see a voltage. So you see it this way. Then let's go to the other one, which is white. Let's see. White, it looks like it goes to the other side. So white is 27. 27. So let me open diagram 2. Yeah, sorry, diagram 1. So with my diagram 1, now I have to look for 27, right? Do you remember the color? Okay, so 27, this is 27. So this tells me that if it goes to the control board, it means it is a 5-volt reference. Control board is hardly for it to come out with 12 volts. So you see it comes to this also, and come and join. This is another position sensor, pressure transducer. So let's have this little case study before we go back to the wiring diagram, right? So this car, they brought it to me to diagnose it. During my diagnosing process, what I found out was I needed to sit down and analyze the problem. And I say problem. The problem properly. So problem is pressure transducer, fuel tank pressure sensor, and a high pressure sensor. Only now share the same power. And you know, Obia air condition will have the air condition people almost connection. Oh, bypass. Oh, maybe why I bypass is here. And they're going to do that, their bypass thing and put in front of the radiator. They call it thermostat. So during that moment, they tap, instead of 5 volts, they gave this wire 12 volts. Thank God it never blew the control board. They gave that wire 12 volts. I'm not 12 volts. My normal sense will tell me, if I do not understood how the system works, my normal sense, Beckham said, me testing a reporting high pressure sensor faulty, like high pressure sensor didn't need it is not reading. So my testing may not 12 volts. Hey, if you remember when we started, I told you something. So I didn't who will be that. Who see them who they correct. So since that place I have to get 5 volts. I was thinking 12 volts they may not power but the test light at test so right. It'll be hard inside the bell. May not power okay. My friend have ground right. That is a one. My friend has signal. That is a year. We took sockets and I'm in measure 5 volts, I'm not 5 volts. But my problem was 12 volts instead of 5 volts. It uses 5 volts reference. I never pay attention till I went on weekend. Say Edumana a boost and I mean I always tell myself, say after 3 hours I have to go for break. If I don't understand what I'm doing after 3 hours, I have to go for break. I have to leave the car maybe 2-3 days and come back. Because I need to do it will surprise you, say, oh yeah, car full. Then that be the trigger, then you go back and go and check. But when you consider Obi, look at it, my mind came on it. I was doing my research when I went on the holidays. So I went Friday. Saturday I discovered the problem. Sunday and I do not I'm for that can yes Saturday and Sunday Monday I did because Monday we do not send me car. I realized I have the video. We'll go through the video, but I'm coming. I realized AC transducer, pressure transducer, it needs 12 volts, 5 volts. I'm a jumping, I'm on 5 volts. So I'm a jumping, I'm on 12 volts. How many are correct? Because you see, I said it's in here, Juma. What's my say? But it's affecting other senses. So once you trace sensor back on the peer, yes, I'm tracing when I'm in the peer. White one, maybe 28. Okay, then call diagram. When number two. Diagram 2, 28. White. Check 28. Apart from circle white, the south for Jina Junction. Please, you get me. A south for Jina Junction. So, Junction, Jina, so, a performer. Socket way. You see the checking wiring diagram. Socket way. Once connect socket way, way better than white. It is a only wiring diagram. You end up going to create this white instead of red. Do you get the whole thing? You end up going to trace white instead of red. While the white is signal, white is signal. This is the red pressure sensor. One red pressure sensor. It's now diagnosing at connect. Mr. Sensor will so kind. Boy, this on GBU. Then so rest in peace. Boy, this on GBU. Now remember the sensor I try error. I try for. So GBU. And more challenging. Can air condition ya my customer any problem say fully blue. No dey chian and adam for this mechanic be obetin ya ma. No dey buy no. It taking me buy 1 week na me ye no. O si me numbo e dey do. O sa me numbo e dey and say technology am use here. We charging almost 2K just to identify the problem and fix it. Because me catch me say wire. And baby am joining wire no. Am joining wire no. I wish I opened the video so that you get to see. So this is a connector. When it comes here, it changes. With that wiring diagram, you will not be able to identify the whole thing. What is here? And you can see it's a splice here, right? So it goes where again? That means it goes to the control unit. And what do you see? RPS supply. And any power supply that comes out of the control unit has to be 5 volts. So it converts the 12 volts DC power to 5 volts. 5 volts. My continuity testing from sensor to control unit, right? ABP. That means what my problem is on what? Control board. That means control board means the ABV 12 volts. That's where every diagnostician will end up. Just like you said, me call holidays Saturday. So it's released. And that's holidays, me call holidays there. Me call for down. Me call holidays, so me start to see how that's I didn't bring the book. That's where I discovered. I went through their service manual and read the OEM diagram. Read aftermarket. I'll show you the OEM diagram. Read the OEM diagram and got to know that RPS supply has to be 5 volts, not 12 volts. So it was giving me reference voltage issue. Normally control board them are reference voltage issue. Now taking a reference voltage in higher. That means control board now say. But this reference voltage was not short to ground, but was short to voltage or short to power. Instead of saying equalize data now show reference, Honda has reference voltages. So you see them on 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. But we were 10. It never clicked my mind till I read and read and read and understood it. Sunday and I'm free holiday and I say, a call, maybe I can't see. And maybe I can't see no. Let me go to the issue. Yes. No. So you have to read component description. You have to read component description. So you get there. Some of the diagram gives you component description. So it tells you how the system works and what you should see. So when I did that research and find out that I had to see when I did that research and when I did that research and found out that I have to see 5 volts, then I went back to my drawing board, trace all the lines, check all the connectors, and found out that one connector now we actual EC11. It's a connector on the fuse. It's a connector on the fuse. On the fuse box. It's a connector on the fuse box. So the issue was I'm joining man no. I'm joining sense I mean tell you. I'm joining I'm the 5 volts. 12 volts from the fuse box. And join it to that same wire on that line. And join it to that wire on the same line. That's why I was able to identify, say, oh, strain and microphone I am below. Is it 2012 or 2013? So sometimes I prefer to spend more time. There's the problem. So sometimes I prefer to spend more time on my research than to let me see if I okay, so if you can see These are the values. The signal voltage, once I'm at 5 volts, that means the fuel pressure is not changing. If you can see my fuel pressure is not changing, right? Let me move away from it. Selected. So if you can see my reference voltage, let me move my hand. You can see reference voltage 1, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5, 4, 10. Then fuel pressure signal 5. Do you get it? That means my fuel reference voltage now I'm clear myself. This is my reference voltage. So this is my reference voltage, right? This reference voltage has turned into 10. It can't write 12. So I got 10. If it was 0, that means it is short to ground. But actual 10, when you trace it, you see that wire from the control board, it goes to this splice, right? And this splice, let me move to 28 and 27. So that means let me move to 1. So 28 and 27, you see the connector I was talking about, EC11. So all of them come to this junction, EC11. And look at this one. You see one connects from down, one connects from top. One is male, one is female. With the arrow, one is male, one is female. So they've connected the wire to this white one. I'm going to trace it back. But tracing it perfect. So we track 12 to 35 volt line. I was surprised it never damaged the control. Do you get the whole thing? So after this kind of issue, what do you think? Hey, if you are the technician, what do you do? Ọba ká dá sẹ wáyà bí náà ọtwa emu nti wéyìí ọmọ ẹ̀fà. Sẹ́ńsà náà akọ̀tọ̀ ẹnu sọ ẹ̀ ọ̀kà o. Nyàmí nà ọ̀dà náà ti sẹ́ wọ́n ntọ́ control board. Because if the control board turn sísú à, the problem will still persist. Yes. Oh, that's no problem. So that is when you put off the it will never prove. So the thing is, I need 5 volts to work in my normal senses. They are giving me 12 volts. So whether the AC is off, the AC is on, I'm still receiving 12 volts. And because I'm receiving 12 volts, the sensor is not working. So see, sorry, let's go back to the video. Let me see if I can find. So this is my testing process. You see how dark the thing was? Because when I discovered it, I was so happy that I can't sleep again. Because kind of vomit. Yes, I got a voltage from the scan two because the scan two was reporting a voltage to me. It's not every car. Yes, it's not every car. But Hyundai has that parameters for you to read. So I was reading it from the Hyundai parameters. That's why I got to know that, hey, Argentina, all signal reference voltage are 5. Why is this 10? And you'll be I'm so kind of first thing control board. Over program here, master. Master, I hate you. I don't know. What cloning board India? What they want you to come? Say about fix the problem, and fix it. Okay, I'm cloning the board India, man. Fuck off. Do you get the whole thing? And you realize the case, sir. Sisi ano. So after I identify that, after I identify it, you see that done I do man now. Nana man, I'm on I want to show you. You see, I'm getting 12 volts, right? I'm getting 12 volts, and this 12 volts, I'm getting it once I've disconnected the control board socket. That pin now goes to the control board. I've disconnected it, but I'm still getting 12 volts. Now I'm fixing every. I fixed the control board. Now I'm testing everything. I'm coming to cut the wire because I've been able to identify it. So I'm coming to cut the wire, add the fuel pressure gauge to it, then see this is where the joy is. Say like a woman poor no one say wire. Now you can apply our battery. Do you get the scenario? So with this one now I have to disconnect the wire and see if my voltage. So if you can see that's the wire that disconnected. Let me pause it so that you see it properly. You see, one man is fused. Yes, guy, no, I hear Juma, yes, you hear Juma. You brought it for me to work on it, for your AC to work. Now your AC is working. What is your problem? And so I'm not going to compare electrician. I'm not going to compare electrician now, the man. Oh, the AC the buy, my AC, they can't into the same family. And to only diagnosing machine, I'll be that modern way our vehicles are going. If you can't speak their language, yes, if you can't beat them, join them. Yeah, if you can't fix their language, if you can't understand their language, you end up doing this kind of problem. Where customer or the batteries are, it's not like I know the job, I don't know it. It's just because I have the understanding about how to go about it. Where are we? You see where are we? So what's that? Connector EC11. It's a connector and the camera because that night, madam, they not just say they tell me church book. That night, I was like doing more calculation, putting things down. Because I said, yeah, you are getting close to it. When you say, ah, yeah, who you are do now until I said, I'm seeing embassy name for. But because of what I've discovered. So I just removed it. And you see how happy I was. You see, it's very nice. It was late in the night. So I had to even borrow torchlight so that it can help me to do the work. And the moment I disconnect it, now I'm trying to use in one. Instead that because I have worked everything in the room. And see the moment I remove it that 5 volts, that 10 volts will start going to 5 volts. And the sensor signal will start working and everything will come back to perfect stage that it has to be. So now you can see oh, so now you can see all of them are on 5 volts. And what you see here, poor rate pressure, I'll explain it to you. The vehicle has been designed such a way that signal line, every voltage has a meaning to the control unit. And so with 25 volts, we can interpret it to me for me to understand say 200 and 2.5 volts means maybe you have said 2.5 volts instruction that the computer obey. They said that 2.5 volts means 1000 psi. So anytime the control unit sees 2.5 volts from the sensor, it means 1000 psi. Whether sensor is show and show onye who's voltage and you say 250. That's why I tell you we can be able to mimic the control unit. To me disconnecting, not percent me testing the wire integrity. And she said, when say me disconnecting, I'm testing wire integrity. Fail it in the team. Why am I actually? Because me testing me 12 volts per person. Control board, me tuna me testing end to end. Now, if you want my testing end to end, me now me 12 volts. Mr. Meaning says I now say 5 volts. My got testing second sensor. And it was reporting like 3 sensors. And all of them were lacking 5 volts. AC compressor, fuel tank pressure sensor, and fuel rate pressure sensor. Now, when you're done as a car, start here, AC guy, and can you have some better control what this is? Do you get the whole thing? So at this point, I was the happiest man on earth because I've been able to identify it. And you can see that my top vote has turned into 5 votes. That's the raw voltage the sensor needs to work. Yeah, it was working. No, I just disconnected that one and the problem was gone. So the problem was, no, at that point, it's in the yashi. Call no way, no yashi car. It's customer, they are disconnecting. It's not know they are very second and I'm here suspension. It's my suspension working. So I see a jam in mechanical scammer. But pulling in the pulling you so my papa sensor. Where that mechanical. I have to die with it. Because the suspension alone is hectic. Anything I'm immediately mechanical. If you don't have the right to, the suspension becomes very tough for you. And I say, who do one who they pay time goes on when you are getting older, you are getting weaker. So if you can see one of the fuel tank pressure sensor. Wow. And I want to fuel signal pressure sensor, fuel rain signal. So 0.6, it has been programmed that 0.6 is about 80 psi for the high pressure system. It will start kind of, but because I made two any take money for it, that moment I couldn't start it. But I fixed everything and fixed it, and I know that I can because I'm getting the right value that I have to get. And that what code went off. Do you get the whole thing? So sometimes it's over is certain some. And in our modern electricians, whenever they change the sensor and the thing is not working, they have to change the control board. And I don't blame them because every fault code, the system tells you that you have to do this, do that, do that, do that. When you do all of them and the problem is still persisting, change the control board. But you've forgotten about the understanding. You don't understand your enemy. You think you know him, but you don't understand him. Because if you didn't know that 5 volt reference has to come there, you end up changing the control board and the problem will still persist. And the customer will not do, or better the car, or also better use the car, or better show some stuff. And I'm not saying you can fix your car. If you can't fix it, that's a solution to the problem. Because master car is the end there. I like doing that because for people how much you at the end, it's like calling me, oh, I've spoken to you on the phone. Oh, you check power, you check ground, you check car lines are okay, power and grounds are okay. How do I control but not communicate? That means you have to change it. But people are how, oh, that be the person on because those are the common things that have to let the control communicate. So if those are available, the control unit is not communicating, that's changing. Do you get the whole thing? So with the understanding, I was able to know that now this E11, online ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ hànú, ọ̀nà máa jẹ́ ní wáyà àánú, sáwọn sí àná wáyà tìǹà ẹ̀wọ̀n àbẹ̀, ọ̀nà máa jẹ́ nínú wàhálà sí. So if I didn't have the understanding of this wiring diagram, and if I didn't understood the fault code, the description, one thing I like about Hyundai is Hyundai, when you have their service manual, some of the fault code they describe to you to the point that they tell you how to see a car line, like a scope signal, what to see on the scope signal. So that's where I got my 5 volts from. So when I saw the scope, I know how to read the scope. So I saw 5 volts. So I was like, then that means this thing has to be in a 5 volt voltage. And why am I measuring 12 volts? So I came back to measure 12 volts. And I saw that, oh no, I was saying 5 volts in that baby. 12 volts now, I measure. I was saying, and the teacher and who said, it's the guy, joining your mama, man. And also, the best is the guy. Oh, nti ɛba ne saa ɛsi gaa bɛka kyerɛ sɛ masa kɔhu electrician. Electrician no so why catch us say, Masa enter control board for insist to me say baby here. Because at a point in our job, you don't need to guess. You have to prove. And to prove, do you understand what you are proving? Because you see, I was telling you about some Alpha Romeo job. That job, we proved it. I guessed it. So I was like, it's not able to communicate. I know I understand CAN system because it has two 120 ohm resistance. And anytime I check that CAN line, me if I don't see the correct signal, I prefer this. I prefer disconnecting the battery, then use ohm resistor to see if I'll get 12 ohms. And I've been to a shop that I'm actually CAN line. Like CAN if you have so kind. If you'll be shop no the car I'm so kind for. As I the CAN in man. The crowd woman said, you see, it's Nissan Pathfinder, Nissan Patrol. The engine and the gearbox is for 2005, and the car is 2006, 2007. I was so kind of better. I don't know, not knowing the engine is okay, but the gearbox is a K-line system. The gearbox uses K-line to communicate, but the car itself uses CAN line to communicate. And so when said, if I couldn't trace no who CAN line, I know what to check CAN line now, boom. Driver side hɔ wotrace akɔ akyire hɔ a na wasan bɛkyekyere abom ɛwɔ driver ɛwɔ akyire boot ne hɔ side ɛna wakyekyere abom ɛna car no nyɛ adwuma nti mekɔɔ hɔ a medi bɛyɛ 2 months 3 months wɔ because ɛnsi me shop nti a na makɔ meka kyerɛ maa ne sɛ yɛnsesa gearbox no na ansa na car no aba no na ɔgye me ndi sɛ car abotokamfo ayaa yɛde aba no na mfiri gye me ndi a sɛ car no da so si hɔ nti me dɛm ma bɛka ba no ntua me kaa nti na mpɛ sɛ yɛnyɛ na mengye me sika ɛna mefɔ sɛ na no frɛ gearbox girl change gearbox control unit one change your valve body because the control unit is in the valve body ɔde car nankasa valve body si so no ɛna pin show yɛ ɛna meka kyerɛ ne sɛ me really one diagram really service information me say 2005 uses K-line and 2006 upwards uses CAN line nti maybe I'm the K-line gearbox now because engine really gearbox really pay. So how will you know say it's a problem from the gearbox? And the exercise yeah, really bad. After I say CAN line be here, the CAN line not disconnecting connect from under the dash going to the back, the front one's way. And I hope testing from connect on the air petrol it beeps. That means there is a short somewhere. Sɛ mempele wire no nyinaa saa nkɔduru akyire hɔ mepele yɛ biribiara wieɛ no na afei car no akɔ akɔyɛ te sɛ yɛde test wahwɛ sɛ ɔnim adwuma like meka saa sɛ ɔte ase ayɛ sɛ obi ɛtu bɔne na ayɛ sɛ obi a gye wonim deɛ ɔyɛ ansa na wobɛhu problem no me test yɛ I'd never use banana CAN line because I understood how to test for resistance and continuity. So I was able to identify it without a scope. Me check where I'm going to manager and say, like honestly electrician telephone gurus no more than and I said they know they testing and not see oh David can I could have so kind John woke up and I them say so kind for send the bed damage no be anti and no match check CAN lines and abu nti mobile get there can started can started there oh man sika 1,500 na can and no friend on top and I'm here kill you man back when your papa nti the back no kwaje e kwaje mi sika enti si ano me friend bi ono so friend my friend so peki na ma kan so de meka so na ya balance here because you feel some expensive no until I say who work for research and that's what coach na how you The money you are charging is what they are thinking of. They are not thinking about the knowledge you are applying on the job. That's the black man for you. I've been to job, my catch up say brony never online, mommy. No matter how much you charge, they'll pay. But I've been on job. Me kasa na me can you other. My catch up say brony obetua. Like we try any anything to say who be millionaire and now small boy scout, you know. That all percent. A brony na the brony no mean say where the otua man. So sometimes you go on the job and you thank God you come back home. So this is how you can interpret some of the wiring diagram. So let's go to this wiring diagram. Yes. So this is how Range Rover diagram looks like. You see, I really like Range Rover, working on Range Rover. It's not because of anything, because the level they are connected. You see the wire gauge, everything, the wire type, color, everything is there. And their service information helps you to identify the location of the connectors. So if you are tracing, you don't get stressed like you tracing Honda socket. So that's very wrong. Do you get it? So Range Rover, this is the Range Rover diagram that we use. And this is the second page. So you can see the wire goes to the next page, which tells you where it is going. And you can see that they are connected. All the CV are seeing they are connected. And Range Rover gives you the connected. And this is typically for Toyota. This is how Toyota OEM diagram looks like. The ones that we use, they are usually aftermarket. But this is how Toyota diagram looks like. Hyundai also have their own. So yes, this is what I want us to do today before we leave. I want us to do something like this. If you understand perfectly, you know that the 14 volts is being converted to 5 volts. And this is a position sensor. So the control unit converts it and supplies 5 volts. So if you can see, this thing is the position. This is the throttle position. This can also go to a pressure sensor, but the pressure sensor will use a diaphragm instead of using a variable resistor to vary the position of the throttle. It will use a diaphragm to vary the pressure that is coming out from the fuel, the high pressure pump. So this is a simple three-wire diagram. And if it is a Hall effect sensor, it is going to use magnetic field to turn off and on for the system to know that the metal is closed or the metal is away. So this simply means, or this simply shows how a control unit receives signals. Normally, this kind of signals, we call them input signals. It can be a crank sensor, a three-wire crank sensor can use this same principle. But Hyundai, what confused me was Hyundai, crank sensor signal, and you 12 volts instead of 5 volts. So that's where I was caught up with that car. Because that year I'm telling a Hyundai with 12 volts. And the Hyundai, they interchange. That's it. So with the Hyundai, it was Kia Force. So Kia Optima. They interchange the power and the signal. Maybe a signal, one of the power for sure, maybe a power, one of the signal for sure. And it can all start here. That car also, because the Saturn now we are fresh with electrical. Thanks to Roland. Electrical can be done here. Me, so you talk control board. By control board, the devices you are programming for the same 40. Reporting. Signal line. The sister sensor is 2. Signal line. And the scope the money here. Let's go to that diagram. Let me show you something. You know, Kia and Hyundai uses the same diagram, right? Yeah, the same engine, the same everything. So we are not checking. You see why their temperature sensors have three wires? Some are not in use. I'm searching for crank signal. Crank. So normally this shows that their signal lines which doesn't need interference. So they use these two core wire that I was telling you is phase to ground. It's a ground stage circuit. This one here. Let me go. No, it's not in this. Okay, let me open another one. I've opened one, two, three. Let me open four. That one also kind of bomiama. This doesn't have the sensor in there. Let me go to five. Okay, so you can see their crankshaft position sensor, right? Camshaft position sensor one and camshaft position sensor two. So both of them, they are. So if you can see, normally when you see signal lines like this, it means one has to be power, ground, and signal, right? So let's trace the wires and see where they go to. Let's see. So the fourth was reporting, I think, left side, no, front of the engine, left side, front of the engine. Yeah, cylinder head. So let's see the camshaft position one, which is the intake. Let's see where that wire goes to. This is the wire. It goes to page two. I've opened for page two. Who remembers the number? Six. Hey, it's not six. Oh. It's not five. It's two. Wait, it's two. It's two. So two, two. That one also I have the video, but because of time, oh, you want us to go through? Don't worry. Today, they should leave us alone. So it goes to two, right? So that means the next diagram coming. Okay, that means the next diagram, if I look, two goes to two. Please do you get it? The next diagram, this is two, right? I don't need to zoom it. It goes to two. So now I have to set for diagram three. There's diagram three or two, three. Yeah, diagram three. So I set for two on this side. Two goes to yeah. So that's the crank signal. Do you get me? That's the camshaft crank signal. So you can see that the both of them are close. This one also, I have tested the continuity. The wires are okay. I've swapped the sensors. Anytime I bring the correct sensor to the position it is not working, it tells me that sensor is faulty. But when I took it to the other side, it was working. It was scope that saved me that day. And let me say the Holy Spirit that saved me that day. So you can see this is the signal, right? Now let's go back and go and see if you can see the power line. Let's go to one because I know green has to be ground. Yeah, I know that the middle ones are ground. The middle cables are ground. So let's go to okay, let's go to one first. So green and orange 21. 21. Let's compare 21, 22, 21. So 21, right? Green and orange. That means that's the power line because a lot of green and orange. You can see they are connected joining here, right? And it's a fuse. So sensor two. So when this fuse is blown, it will report a lot of sensors. So that's where I couldn't get that, like a beating. You see, where experience does not matter, because I've worked on such sensor before, and it was 12 volts. So in my mind, maybe 12 volts will only be okay, because Hyundai maybe using power supply, they are using 12 volts. But at that point, that 12 volts, it wasn't, it doesn't have to be 12 volts. Do you get it? You see, it is fused, right? And the problem was they've interchanged this one to this one. Oma change your socket ni. Nti power akɔdi ground na ground misi power akɔdi signal na signal akɔdi ground. Nti wo plug a sensor ni nyɛ adwuma. Wo plug a sensor ni nyɛ adwuma. Ground dey so gyina baby ogyina no. So with that one, it will not blow the sensor, or it will not affect the control unit. Just that the sensor is not going to work, because when you check from this diagram, normally it shows how the system is being designed. So you can see the signal and the diode, which is preventing reverse polarity to allow it to work. So the same car engine, right? The same, like let me say, mother manufacturer, they are using the same thing. Not share the same problem. I think, oh, so you know, the same diagram now they are there, mommy. It's 12 volts. You see when you trace it was 12 volts. But they have some of the American cars which uses 5 volts at that point. Good. And I say me up. It was 5 volts. The experience in the car here. Commissioner Johnny 12 volts a man. But the power will not control for Nashi. So that's why I say when no matter the experience you have, when the job is approved, you start fresh. You start like you don't know anything about the job. Because if you put the experience, the humanity, electrical, the modern technology they are using behind the cars, I never knew that Toyota, the newer ones, were having two injectors. They have port injection and direct injection. I fixed one with high pressure sensor faulty. I'm changing fuel pump. Now they say, it's a fuel pump there. Fuel pump, everyone knows that fuel pump has only two wires. But this is a three-phase fuel pump. That's a 2019 or 2020 model. Three-phase fuel pump. It has four wires. Three wires. They call it UWX or UW. I've forgotten the last one. Three-phase fuel pump. How much is that of Martin or Medical number? It's a favorite shop, no which you are no more because of lesser madam. Our sister says that I can't hear you. Daniel, so Daniel, not the two sockets. Socket high sensor, high pressure sensor. It's a money, it's a malfunction. And through my research, I understood that during economical mode, like not heavy use of the car, it uses the port injection. And during high performance, it uses both the port injection and the direct injection. So it makes the fuel a bit efficient. And because it's using two-phase motor, the pressure is able, the fuel pump is able to handle both pressures. And it's a technology that has been developed. Once because who the who experience to shock you say where this job. I sometimes see the fault and I start laughing. It's not how knowledgeable you are. Every job you have to be sober, you have to start it from fresh. When you follow your knowledge that minimum you end up disgracing yourself always. But some jobs call it the basics in the job. Like it is a basic fault. Obi Onimbeka can say a basic fault, but what Onimbeka say, hey, how many months I made you a man? Someone who has been working on Alfa Romeo thinks he has the experience. It's not anything. No. It's because it doesn't have the basic understanding on how the system works. Because how the system works helps you or guide you to understand or to know what to do next. Oh yeah, pressure sensor in here. No. Catch them say, oh, customer is so better. But not my friend ordered it and changed it, and the car went. And oh, make sure. So sometimes I throw experience away and I prefer learning. I think we have to go to the practical so that we will be able to do what I was saying. This thing, we'll be able to set something up like this so that anytime you get any issue with your car, you know that it is when you see the wiring diagram, it is not the whole wiring diagram that you are looking through, but you attack it as a circuit system. So when it is injector, you attack the injector as a circuit system. When it is ignition coil, when it is any of the sensors, you attack them as circuit system, like as you have seen. The circuit is complete. Power core, ground core, signal core. It is a way, I can't say a good signal, then I mean. Now, if you see, the reason why I use scope, and electricians in Ghana don't want to buy scope because the reason why we use scope is to know what the computer sees. The scope helps you to know what the computer sees. When I say, do you get it that way? The scope, it helps the computer to know what it sees. So if the computer is seeing A, the scope knows. You remember I was telling you something about a Hyundai that I checked crank signal back there. Say, oh, cranking up here, then that means the best you can do is to change the crank sensor, right? But I took scope to the car, I put all my scope signal to it, and asked myself, what will I see for this car? If I was the car, what do I need for me to work? So if I need food and drink, then let me check my supplier of food and drink. So I checked the supply. The supply was coming, but I was not having strength to work. That means my immune system will break it down. So we took the control board back to the guys and they reprogrammed the control board. We placed it on the car and the car started. And yes, sir, over that was change the control board. And so I'm going to fix it. But Obi Bedu, I change the control board. I fix it here and the back on the back and say, hey, guy, what do you do? Once I change the control board, we guessed. You'll be guessing there why they go and guess somewhere then you'll not be able to identify. So we are going to use the wiring diagram. And if I was telling you something about the 48 volts and the 12 volt system. Now most of the vehicles have 48 volt system. Range Rover, most of the Range Rover, most of the Benzes, they have the 48 or 42 volt system. And they have DC to DC converter. Most of them, the alternator charges at 48. So they have this DC to DC converter, which converts the current, which converts the voltage from 48 to 12 volts. After it is done with the conversion, it has to get a feedback loop. So this is a closed system design loop, whereby it tells the car itself that, oh, okay, after all this test, testing raining 48 are converted to 12 volts successfully. So there is control unit on the system. It's not going to set any fault code. Do you get the whole thing? So let's go to this is what I was saying. How the CAN system is taking away wires. In the olden days, if they have to control all these components, right? They have to join wire to wire on a switch mode. But in the modern technology, now we use what we call communication line. So they are using an L line or any of the communication line that they are using. Toyota calls it multiplexer, and other companies have a name of calling it. So you can see they send one signal. So you turn off one here, then it turns on the component you want because it is using zeros and ones to decode the information that is coming to the other control unit. Then with the decoding, the other control unit knows the kind of instruction you are telling him or what you are telling him to do. Then if it is motor, it's switch motor. If it is light, it's switch light. If it is heater or any cellular, it turns it on. So I think we are done. So now I'm coming to connect this unit. And before I can connect it, I have to question. So you keep following. You keep following. I know some people on YouTube that what the man does is he has A4 sheet. So he prints all the wire diagram, the pages. So if it is 8 pages, he prints all of them, writes all of them down, then he starts tracing them. What is the circuit? So the circuit behind your power and ground and signal. So he traced all of them, then trace this, then trace that. Then from there he knows that component where are we? Because they have wires that are the same. Yes, yes, yes. All the way to get to page 8. Fourth card, yeah, 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 yeah. Fourth three my bed, 12, 13, 15 pages that you have to be tracing. Range over to the same thing. You have to be tracing till you get to the component. And when you are tracing, you have to be mindful with slice, where there is slice, where there is connectors. Because there could be corrosion in the connector. If you don't take care, you end up leaving that connector and tracing a good voltage. While the problem is coming from the connector. So what I do is, if I'm tracing any circuit, what I set for are splices and connectors. Because I want to divide the job that I'm doing. Okay, system now I'm tracing. If you check, and I say if you need never. So I'm disconnecting, I'm testing, I'm still the beeping to ground or the short to ground is still beeping after I've disconnected the front side. Then that means front in the middle, you go try where I be out front. Then I go and set for another connector within that range to the next component. But disconnect here, no. Now say still I say I'm here. Then I know I'm moving to the back. So I really love diagnosing Range Rover because they have a lot of connectors. Because you'll be able to, like, that's why I say you have to have a plan. If you don't have a plan on your diagnosis, you will never get to your solution. So, what a win, what a win, what a win, what a win. And the last album, like the Pathfinder, the Nissan Patrol that I was telling you. I got to know that when I disconnected it, so beeping air from down or air coach. Then I go, then I trace, I disconnect at the back. I saw that the beeping has stopped. Mr. Tuaha. That means the problem is in between the two seats. Just a mini where I laugh a tracing where I see. So anytime you are doing diagnosis, I prefer doing the only time that you delay when you say, oh, you your way. Because you don't understand what you are doing. And sometimes when you don't have the right information, you can have the right information, but you interpret it. That's the problem. So I want us to use let me start this before I do. So this is ProMaster 2019. I'll connect it through the count system, right? And make sure machine communicates with it. Then you go to live data. You trace and find the which one kind of temperature sensor. We try and find a temperature sensor on this. When you get to find a temperature sensor, Then you manipulate the temperature sensor. So we are going to act as the temperature sensor and we see if it will affect the scan through information. That's how I test my devices. So I see if it will be able, if I'm able to manipulate it and it's able to process it and send a CAN data to me, then that means the control unit is okay. So I don't attack the control unit, then I attack the sensor or the unit. So they are all tricks, or I will not say tricks, they are all plans in diagnosis. The plan you use to do your diagnosis. So if you know that, okay, this control unit from this point it is saying this or I'm seeing this, then that means this is the real issue. So what I'll do is let me select the vehicle. 2019 um, 2019 let me use Dodge ProMaster. ProMaster 150. Sorry, I'm changing the car. It's not ProMaster 150, it's ProMaster. The engine capacity is different. ProMaster City is 2.4 liter. So normally this control board, the Cherokee that I know was 2.4, and the ProMaster City is also 2.4. So this is the service information that we are talking about. It depends on the company you want. You might change your company. You might have different places. So I'm using this. I'm going to the diagram. So I'm going to show you two iron diagram, right? We will have the OEM diagram and we have the other diagram. So I will show you the OEM diagram also. Let me show you. This is the OEM diagram. So our main focus is on the PCM. This is how you'll be able to test control unit on bench. You'll be able to test control unit on bench. So where's my tester? And most of the system, you need what we call a resistor, because some of the CAN lines they don't have the 120 in them, and they too, if they don't have the 120 in them, that means you have to give them something that will like will let them maintain 60 ohms. If they have 120 in them, that means you have to bring the 120. You have to be a power 120 so that you'll be able to communicate with it. But for this one now, what I'll do is no. Okay, let's look at fuel delivery system or fuel control system. Let's go to intake first. So this is how the intake diagram looks like. So these are the sensors. You can see Sonic camshaft position sensor, then sensor oil pressure, and fuel pressure rate sensor. So if you can see, it looks like they are using splices. This company, they are crazy. They use splice a lot. So you can see they are using splices. That's the sensor ground. All of them are sharing the same ground. And you can see the 5-volt supply, and they are sharing the 5-volt supply. Just the signal line is different. You can see the map sensor. The map sensor is different, and the fuel pressure is different. So what we are about to do is we are going to test for um, engine temperature sensor. So this I have to go to. So this is the CAN line, right? That means it goes to another connector C, CAN C. So my CAN line is pin 33 and 57 on C1. I have the diagram already. So on C1, this is where C1 is, the green side. So if you count pin 33 and 57, they are opposite. Normally, that's how they do CAN lines. CAN lines is either they are like this. If one is here, one is here. Or if one is here, one is here. That's how they do CAN lines. They are normally opposite. So with this one, we are having this as our account line. So keep it in your mind. Oh. And now we need to find for power, right? So this fuse 23 and 96. One is battery power, one is ignition. That means it's ignition that turns it on. But don't worry, I know the pin out. This one is intake temperature. So the intake temperature sensor. You can see the intake temperature sensor has one ground, sensor ground. So what the intake temperature does is, because one side is sensor ground, the other side is sending 5 volts reference. So due to change in temperature, the resistance of the temperature sensor either become high or low. So when it is high, the voltage that goes back to the signal side will change. The voltage that comes that goes to the signal side will change. And this is how the control unit is able to identify that the sensor is disconnected. The moment you turn the key on, it goes to 5 volts. It tells you the sensor is disconnected. It doesn't put it that the sensor is disconnected. It will tell you that sensor not connected or sensor is disconnected, right? And if it is short to ground, the moment you turn on the ignition, the control board sees it to be 0. That means it has short to ground. So should you use the intake or should you use air temperature? Which one do you want us to use? We should use the two. You should do the two. Okay. So with this, you have to keep it in your head. 56 and 34. Please, can someone take a picture of it? 56 and 34. Sorry, have you taken a picture of it? So 56 and 34, right? Let me see if I'll be able. Oh, I want to see. Yeah, I think I got it. Engine temperature sensor. So you said we should do the two, right? So we'll be doing the two. So this is engine temperature sensor, and the down one, the latest version, and it will require me to use data. Okay, so have you taken the picture of it? I'm hoping I'm having my temperature sensors here. If you can use them. Yeah, I'm having one temperature sensor here. So I'm having one temperature sensor. I don't know the resistance in this. I'll test it and see if I'll be able to use it so that, okay, I'm having two temperature sensors. So sometimes you can mimic the system, then you just, so now I have to measure the voltages. Please keep, are you done taking the pictures? After taking the pictures, now on what connector are they? That's another issue. Let's see. You see they are on connector 2, C2. So that means C2 will be the down one. And do you remember the numbers? Okay, so I can see one. Okay, 24. So that means we can get 10. I saw 10 for the temperature sensor. I saw 10. I saw 10 for the temperature sensor. So we will be doing 10 and 56. Do you get it? We will be doing 10 and 56. You are trying to mimic, if you're able to mimic this, or if you're able to practice this always, any further count, you just break it down at that point, at that level, able to get it. So let me see. Okay, the first thing is, even if I connect everything, we have to see it communicating, right? So let me see how best I can allow it to communicate. And this one, I'm not going to use, I'm going to use OBD to do the connection. And I can even check on the connector, right? So that I can check for the connector so that we can get the exact name. So let me see. Have you taken the picture? Okay, this one I've forgotten myself. Yeah, I love this thing. Okay, let me save it. But just I have to save it, you not get it like this. So let me go to my downloads. The people they should wait, they should let us finish everything. Hoping I can get this. So the reason why I'm using this laptop and it's because of the can, like the way for me to communicate with it. Although I can use, if you can see this from this one, C2, right? You can see 32 33. When you check the connector here, one starts from here. So if I count, I can get 24 here. So 23 here is one step back. And this is the same thing as C2. So let me do the current communication thing. So first, you have to measure for 5 volts. You have to get 5 volts on those two pins. Then I'll connect this connector, one of this connector to it, so that we get the 5 volts. Then I'll introduce the sensor. When I introduce the sensor, the voltage that we get will let us know what is going on. So I have to get 3 power before the control. I have to get can high, can low. I have to get 1 ground. No, 1 ground will be okay for it. Okay, so I'm hoping I'll be able to remember. I do them a lot. Because of modern technology nowadays, we don't keep too much data in our head. One, two. What two? Oh, this is a breakout box. So it allows you to connect a control unit on bench. No, these are they sell it separate. Let me do it. It has to be online. But I always forget which one is can high, can. So can high, can negative is 33, right? So that is can low. So can low will be here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then can high will be here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Ground. It says 23, right? For the ignition power. 23. Okay. So this is to allow my unit to communicate. And the reason why I'm using this Anytime any control unit communicates, there's current flow. So if it is not communicating, my current flow will go down. Let me use this heavy duty battery. Before I connect it, let me be very sure. So I'm hoping my diagram is right. Yeah, yeah. So the 23 is right. So this is how the connection looks like. So this is how the connection looks like. This is the connection itself. So it's the same thing. The same thing. When you follow the pins, it's the same thing. That's the same thing it's showing me here. So now I have vim that now. Let me see my car high. Vim high. What you having is the pin out, right? Yeah, the pin out. So now I have vim. So now it's left for me to communicate with this unit, with the control unit. Let me test it first. Safety first. Okay. Okay. So now let me try and scan. Okay, so let me turn it on. It is on. Let me move my test lead. Please, you are the one going to give me the values. So if you give me wrong values, you will have wrong work. Not Black Friday. Article. Okay, so we know article. Article. So what we are going to do now is I'm going to use OBD to scan it. So with the OBD, let me click on OK to identify it. You guys, you remember the pinout? Me, I don't know anything about the pinout. Let me connect my. I have this. So what I want us to do is I want us to measure the voltage. Because of PC connectors I get. So let me find for the right one. So this is a male and a female connector. So I can connect to this side and connect the other one side to control it, one side to sensor. Turn on 120. Now that turn on 120 ohms, I'm sure it will scan and come back again. So you see why I told you some of the this one, because it has the 120 ohms built inside. So anytime I turn it on, it's able to communicate with the other unit. That's why I like using it. Okay, I think this one is blue and green. Let's do the first one first. The thing first. So you see it's able to log in. So let me go to this and connect this thing up. Right. So let me set for 10 and ground. Who remember 10 and 36? That's right. 10 and 56. 10 and 56. No, we are starting with 10. Then will be. Please, I'm coming. If you can't see anything, hold on for me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I should get 5 weights. One is 36, right? 5, 8, 6, 8, 7, 8, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, right? Please, sensor ground 33, 34. Oh, 35, 35. Please, can you see the voltage? 34 and 33. We are getting 0.4 volts, right? 0.4 volts. Let me go to live data. 4.9. That's 5 volts, right? Then that's the signal coming out from the control unit. Now I'm coming to mimic it. I'm coming to control it. I'm coming to valve. The reason why I would like to use OEM is because when you are using OEM, some of the OEM gives you the 5 volts voltage itself, like the Hyundai. You saw how it went to 0.6 volts. So I'm done with this. Oh, it's good you ask questions. Oh, okay, yeah, I can do that. Oh, I can do that. I didn't. Okay, so again, one said, Osha, I say, yeah, temperature, engine temperature sensor. Mami graphic and open. Mami sure and open. Mm. Engine temperature sensor, negative 40. It goes to echo negative 40 because CCR, you are connected. Anytime I want temperature measurement be 40, negative 40, be at 502. CCR, 502. Reaction voltage, this is what the computer is seeing. We have ground and we have the voltage signal. It is a ground or back, voltage signal no back. Until I mention say magic be the big man. Magic be a banana. What's I call 1.4? Say when I check the temperature of this room, make it a temperature sensor. So it's going to give me 73 degrees. I think Fahrenheit or something. Where Sanke or chocolate our hand and can spray good swag. I won't say it. Me shut them light our come to beat it out. Yeah, it's Makuta. So once I was negative. Well, I want to show after that. Oh, make sure say many variable resistance. Now, yeah, they are very resistant. So now, say young person is changing temperature. So, intuition. Me and say ya. Now me and say ya. Meba. Impacho meba. Because then time I come back no. Come over and check it. Person make sure say make my side unit now. Oh, what the energy? 75 now. And yet degree Celsius. Degree Celsius will hold back. Oh, I'm friend say Fahrenheit. I mean, yeah. To say, after mom no matching your Fahrenheit. Okay. That means temperature sensor. I mean, just second one. So you see how we can test certain things on the bench. Once they are tested on temperature sensor about that. Maybe I say, I call zero crowd. Really, call zero. I know not I say really. So obviously about all checking the temperature sensor. This what when now these are the value of it me I can say control board near correct. But temperature sensor name. By yes or the bedroom and I know I can say temperature sensor name. A bit to me, not in socket no mu pia so yi na ahyente because I know say anything to pia so de. After me bibi ase na me pia so de no ahye. Na me charge mo mo say yen pa won. Enye me for. So sisi a yenya 1 point computer say ohun 1.4 bi an ka say 73 nti computer no hu 1.4 no ono say 73 nti 1.4 ma me hit na me hwe say e be ko what you change mo hwe voltage ni ma me voltage ni change sisi abai 144 degrees Celsius that means the temperature sensor is active try there and the short to unit to ground let's say at the oh 7 0 waha that means shorted to ground oh where wa fourth the data mean for fourth code side they say because fourth code side fourth be brave because other components na you're enjoying it so some journey is other components na so this one temperature sensor one time temperature sensor na mean two when now don't say temperature sensor and super you did the same thing na yes sir temperature sensor mo kind na rebe okay 56 24 35 36 37 38 39 40 41 42 43 44 45 46 47 48 49 50 51 52 53 54 55 56 ano plenty a MI no I want to know so about One of the matches that are negative. Maternity proofs. Mr. Happy proofs no as you say every negative and positive back to positive. That means when the backwash negative and the backwash positive. And you see, I know. Means I say many intake temperature sensor. Many intake temperature sensor they are selected. Okay, intake temperature sensor. I don't cry. They are sorry. In fact, I don't know also. Intake temperature sensor negative 40. What value? It's about 76. So I can mimic the system to the point say I can use this as an intake temperature sensor. If you have that knowledge, say intake temperature sensor, say the principle behind it is a thermistor. So as temperature goes on, resistance change. My disconnected to control board too. Me they are there actually. Then here voltage in every. Let me select resistance. Okay. Resistor then I'm moving on. 1.6 K ohm resistor. That means if I have 1.6 K ohm transistor, I can regulate it. Sorry, 1.5 K ohm, right? Maybe hitting over ever cost around ever for. It is a voltage, we are voltage in the cost around ever for. Less resistance, that means the voltage will flow higher. Once I make the about that's how the temperature sensor works. So if you have the understanding, you can even take the temperature sensor out. But if you can, now test it. But I'm not asking. Color, color them. For example, I say, the transfer back blue, your transfer connector C1, C2. I've been working with this board, so I know the C1 and C2. That be almost nearly sir. Everyone got signal side of car, every bit C2, C1. But then I want to control board no design here. And yeah, now, baby, why they never confirm one time, man. And say, I know, say, power and this and your man, now connect about. You have control board transmission, any engine. Make us a transmission, any engine now control board back. It's two different colors. No control board back. What are they? The same control board. Then by the time transmission communicate here, they may call another car line. So by the time ECU and communicate here, they may call another car line. So that's how the system has been designed. That's not designing. So in that case, how to do that means that no, so EOBD scan both or OBD2 scan both transmission and ECM. And it's engine transmission is a different kind of line. Any that two need to communicate. Unless say you control board, no match. Still said I'm connected to a bench to say one shall need to minute transmission kasa. Because Jim connected transmission can line is which color code are you familiar with? Black. Do you know Toyota use white and black strip for ground? Europe cars, Benz, BM, Audi, Yusuf Brown. Rating behind your they also have their standard base. That. We do not design anything. We are consumers. We are consumers. Like now they don't allow us to program GM. Who can say what about it? You can't say anything about it. Chrome car, yeah, African. Don't go and buy those cars because my own program, yeah, my access. Cause dealership, so yeah, back open and minimum Ghana. Cry, have difficulty. The big boom, yeah, you say, okay, Saka no, Sa, me say the ninja, Sa na Jonathan. So say they na me say, why not? Now, why I know receive a new ekyire wire ne fa ha sei na abɛfa ha na abɛfa dash no mu na aba abɛfa carpet line no mu ansa na asan akɔ back to receiver no like wire no dey ɔmo ayɛ no ɔmo etu tracy abɛtracy afa ne sei saa abɛsi w'akyi na wire no pɛ na ebreki ɛno nso report fault biara sɛ wire na ebreki yɛasesa bcm yɛasesa receiver. Ọsịsa receiver ọsịsa BCM na ọdịba asị m programming na m gaghị sị problem is more than receiver no na mekọ ya m diagnose am sọ ntọ receiver mbra na m nsị sị ntị jani ejuma no na ọtọ receiver receiver na be do fix ya na anya yi o na m sị okay ndị o be jaka ni ma jaka ni ma 1 week pressure na car ra so nya ni car no ni be dia ni car si me yẹ no ọfẹ mi di obi ami me because pressure na ma own thing. Little mistake no be sure be car. When the pressure no aka send them, I mean joining where our high without knowing the actual cause, not knowing this why we don't advise poking wires. We did panel the wire. So if you am say area na it's me kurodi. To where na kurodi machine. If you straight now, straight me okay. Battery penalty. The tree I'm joining from say that day that na do me need to my dey am time me can come and register. Because I'm not charging for programming. And my programming again and still problem no. It's not say I'm charging for diagnosis. Any fixing. I'm charging why ready so be here. I'm customer ready so be here. No I do sika. Who you know I'm going to sika. Because of let's say programming and run well. Yes, it's to identify the problem. So after identifying the problem, to the normal Ghanaian who identify problem, no, so fix it. But diagnosing it, you have to charge for identifying the problem. Then fixing it, I'll charge you my labor. So the diagnosing comes with its labor. Then the fixing comes with its labor. But no person won't try to limbo. That's a cheat. Because two players high. It is not like classical. They are expensive. And I have to test and verify and know say I then am correct. Because man test here, messy day. But no know who is out. Or no know the other side to see the problem I'm on. That's how blacks in their dream. Oh, why am I in the call? Oh, I you know. By engine say, oh, I dare about the same I ain't now spending engine cost no. Find out them every month to be an every year you're 70 year. On June way. But not let the other say problem no why am I no. Can I just any say if you spend out Jimmy Saskan. Mr. Kobe fear no transmission. Guy now. Mr. Technician, you almost sure that the customers now, bro. Transmission fuse baby I shall will you. I know they have a baby before. Anyway, because almost timing. Almost no problem. No problem. I'm saying timing. Not from my friend transmission guy. This is some better. Guy in the better no you transmission fee the deal. Me yeah timing na car start here. Say me the baby me juma. My customer na friend me. Car in drive here. Timing na me pay here anything na car in drive here. I'm saying master. And yeah car na timing it doesn't have anything relating to. And I said it hasn't set any fault code related to timing. Into which you are the three and six who fault code. Diagnosing who said transmission fuse normal position. We say now me give you am catch say Jimmy here calibration because on the the programmer. Some guy say fuse on tell we can say time in this can no try. Some guy say Jimmy kwa calibration and you can pay. We dey call it now come be 20-30 minutes. Now better. Yeah, now you money. Me here the calibration. Here we are I'm packing and I'm charging the calibration. Now I'm charging fees because I don't know. Oh, you see my problem here. Oh, good time now. Maybe the activity Eddie working say why down and tell me say me koha I'll get this value. And I'm here you know money. No money say it's man na once per year here. Fix when I be say na adi ya. Oh, ontia. Oh, what do you advise on trauma? I don't advise, I don't diagnosing it. I don't like diagnosing it because I'm not a technician who worked on it. Yeah, from left to right. Convention from left to right. The reason why I don't like doing those classes. I'm not a technician who did that work. And some of the components who are part of them and how try and anchor. Mamba for almost tight. Once I know rate, no matter tight. Our man about that year. Now they are causing. Obi the show man ba. Photos man. I say do say I do. You can't answer me to me. I know that need to know. Make me hear. Many time I hear. By own the value of my time. As how value the medical programming now. Many stuff. Oh, they don't respect our value as diagnostician. They feel say diagnosis is not fixing. But it's two different things. Yes. I do a machine diagnosis. No tell machine diagnosis. But the machine is machine is oxygen sensor. Maybe so oxygen sensor no heater circuit o. Say oxygen sensor no signal issue o. Machine say oxygen sensor. Now the rest is left to me. Nti sɛ ɔpɛ sɛ ɔtua extra, mɛcharge wo extra. Mecharge wo extra na afei matumi identify akyerɛ sɛ wɔ oxygen sensor na asɛ anaa wɔ converter ɛna ɛnyɛ adwuma yie nti na ɛma wɔ oxygen sensor report anaasɛ fuse bi na ebuo. What am I saying? At that point no, me say extra diagnosis. But ɔnyɛ de machine si so a wɔyɛ mentality ni sɛ wode machine si so a ɔsɛ ɔhu fault no. But I made the machine system, I mean, who fought you? Machine in my guidelines. HM say ko A. That is the issue. My car. I'm on the Pakuna car. Say, but so I take your mom go. I'm sure YouTube and you know what you say. Me I'll be to me friend. And I'm say, Obi ba me ho, me and man no say I say YouTube put in 30 minutes spend and I will do that 1 hour 2 hours. And guys say YouTube and then addicted. Then am I addicted am. No, no, no. You see what crowd up is so ejuma we dey enter. I'm say, what crowd is say ejuma we dey enter. 30 minutes after me tell you is here. It's education, isn't it? What say big before mentality no. We don't understand say machine is not diagnosis o. Machine is fault finding or interpreting what the control unit is saying. Enti diagnosis no na work hospital work catch doctor say oti wo ne wo nine. Now ọtụrụ sị kọnye lab wee ya. One kọnye lab na obehu problem no. Enti mba na catch am say okay o ka the problem ni. Now say ma scan na me see the thing in the line. Na kọnye lab na. Who person lab technician no. Enter do that sika na due for consultation. Then you sir, consultation has to be different from lab work. The lab na be am say okay me ma we do me ma para me ma kode me ma we. America, okay, be line. Okay, ni be line. I have technicians who call me. Okay, ni be line. E be line mu to say maybe e dey me yan. E to ti assess o be try diagnose na. Na oye you can no be ma o labor now. O dey diagnose of the machine is so be charge machine. Manager. Hey, Ghana, I'm on kind of crew. No, sometimes that's the problem. And America said, Hyundai, Honda, the machine gave them the fault code. That's not the actual fault code. The control unit is having a problem. And if you don't fix that problem, it will tell you integrated mismatch alignment. The two yes our problem now. Now that control unit now, problem in the samba. Obi ba me catch and say, man, this is your problem. Open say me radar calibration, man, me say. Or say I'm here, man, no 2 weeks or buy a message is cap problem. So I'll catch and say, okay, me fix it. Me imagine scan my some do radar scan be. What say for a car? Like it's time we have to put value on our work. This is a machine they do. Obi ba me oh, shaitan me start to one person mun try to take Ghana. Because it's a machine every year they update ya. You pay almost $1,000+. Now, my budget of 50 Ghana, made the fire. Why never cry? See, the system, you know the hungry boys. You know the hungry boys. When you say some boys are hungry, you know these two, Auto IM 608. People are buying. Game boys are buying it for others. So they make the programming very cheap. Well, Juma now, over can say over 500 Ghana, no. Or no, over 200 Ghana, no, down. Because at the end of the month, Game Boy and Baba catch so, oh, man, 2,000 and 1,000, you know, means I activate your subscription. But when I made the new work, at the end of the year, or say, means I go to $1,200. So you get the difference. Which on no sell system, you are trying to correct the system. But no sell system because he's thinking of hunger. Come here, your boss. Come here. Now, who did the Mr. Cry? You see, one thing about Ghanaians, me, I don't keep customers. I have my own reason. The reason being that, or you are written one bar, no one of the baby airful. And to me, when you are in our ban, or some charge you said there is no tomorrow. Because at the end, I have to also pay for my services. I have to buy wire and I have to pay for machines that our job every year. Machine, I just bought it last last year. It's for testing ignition spark plug. This year, almost released it 2 times. Almost released it and this 3 months, 4 months, almost say release the 5. And the other keep it up. I said we got to 5. One time I say 5 now we got to 6. And the sika it me but it is what the mawa. And the help a member. One body I mean say me juma on person na me. They say over fast stress. See, Ghanaian customers will never tell you the truth. No, but yeah, come on. Me a friend for programming. So I took the programming money and told him say one chair member. The programming here now born in the juma. Some catch and say master, this your car is having an issue. Let me fix it for you. And our friend the technician, the mechanic, and he said, control board now said, master, the programming control board here. Parking show. Show. That means there is a mental problem with the car. Mechanic, the technician, the catch and said, hello technician. That was the problem on the car. And you see the first of the programming. Is that part of the job? And I'm charging. The charging now, or you mean, I said, well, I'm the first payment, you know. After now, I'm soon in it. Because I know it's not much in cinema. Officer Betia. What did they tell? They come Officer Betia, and I spent 5 hours on the car and find out, say, technicians nearby connected to me the same. And I'm connecting is with the wiring diagram and the information I had. We interchange the connectors and the car start the car move. Can is your very 1 year. Until you know I'm changing connectors. Of let's say, now connector pen I change it and I let me say. You see the value of the rent. Until next time, catch yourself to a car. Everyone here, and I'm sure. That's the only side effect of mobile service. Since I started for almost like 6 or 5 years now. That's the effect. Because my ear will hold. Won't say connector. Connector so there. Now they change connector and do like 2K. Master. It is I didn't the police station from Sika. You see the mentality of listen because technician now went to me and technician is a trainer. Or no, went to me and it's of listen. Also, you're the same thing. Yeah. Mm. Yes. Yes. So the OBD, what I've done like this, the protocol that I use to communicate with this custodian, that's the OBD, onboard diagnosing. The OEM is the original manufacturer, original equipment manufacturer. So anything OEM means that's what is from the original manufacturer. There is some OEM diagram. Let me show you the aftermarket diagram. Maybe offer aid